Know me, and it's my pleasure today to put this presentation to you, and it's about presenting the FM opportunity with confidence. Most of you, I think, will have seen an opportunity presentation of some kind. Yeah? It may be that you've had it by PowerPoint from a team leader. It may have been that you've been to opportunity meetings here or in other locations. Now, sometimes it pays to reflect on what you've actually seen and heard and read. And it's all about this today. It's about presenting with that confidence. Because in most every situation, you need to get your initial message about the fantastic opportunity that FM is. You need to get that across within 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. Preferably within 45 seconds. Because if you don't, there's a thing called a salesman alarm in everybody's head. And that will go off. And it's a very, very loud bell, and a shutter comes down. And if you trigger that salesman alarm, you're in trouble. So, you say, well, how can I get that message across in that sort of timeline? So, how do I do that? Well, you need to speak with confidence. You need to speak with confidence, and that confidence will show you and tell a lot about you. You've got to speak with conviction. You've got to speak with conviction about the products that you represent, about the business opportunity that you represent, and the knowledge that will bring. Yeah? Knowledge from opportunity meetings, from training events like this, from attending the webinar, listening and viewing the webinar, or just getting together in small groups as teams. Anything there is to give you knowledge, because the knowledge gives you confidence and it can give you that conviction. So I've covered that already. We talked about the leaders. The support websites. Now there's a number of more support websites. I'm not going to rattle them out now because I think they come along later. But there's loads of stuff available to you guys. Use it and abuse it, please. It's there on free issue for you. If you don't know anything about it, speak to your sponsor. If your sponsor doesn't know anything about these websites, speak to their sponsor. Sooner or later, you'll find someone who's got that knowledge for you. So, my mission today is to remind you of what you've learnt to date and to get you to reflect on what you've learnt to date. So, get you to actually do a bit of reflection about what you know, what you have learnt along the way, because that's going to help you. And I want to encourage you to continue your learning, because it's the learning that will give you competence and confidence. Okay? Why that? Well, most people know that competence and confidence equals independence. Independence, that's a very strong word, independence, isn't it? Independence equates to a residual income, passive income. Is everybody familiar with that term? Do they know what it means? If you don't be ashamed, put your hand up, I'll explain it. Residual income, that income that just comes month after month after month. That residual income, that gives you time freedom. What a summer have I had. Hey, if you've seen me be in the loon, you know, on crazy things across Europe. Great time, but business and pleasure mixed. Time freedom is the most valuable asset that you will ever achieve in your life. No doubt about it. The money, that's good, you know. As Zig Ziglar says, you know, oxygen's good, it sort of, you know, but the money is the time freedom. So what do you know? You know that FM World is a strategic partnership. You know that, don't you? That's Profound and Drom. Always remember Drom. 101 years in the perfume industry, perfume compositors par excellence, second to nobody virtually. Suppliers to other perfume groups, perfume distribution networks and perfume houses like our own. They're in very good company now. We've surpassed the likes of Dior, of D&G. We've surpassed them in Europe. FM World is Drom's biggest customer, but they're major people, so don't forget the Drom connection. It's vital, and you can get that across very quickly. Alright? You know that most people actually buy what is a very dilute concentration of perfume oil. You know that, don't you? You're all familiar with that?
Yeah.
Most people buy that lovely eau de parfum, eau de parfum. What you also know is that our quality is perfume. We do have some eau de parfums, but you know that most people buy that, a very dilute concentration. Use that to your advantage. You know that the other companies, their products are expensive by comparison due to the high cost of the conventional distribution network. You know that, don't you? But sometimes you need to remind yourself of these things, because you kind of forget it along the way. You get kind of swept up in all this excitement and euphoria, but you forget some of the basics that you can just put across, portray very, very easily, very, very quickly to people. And you know about the high cost of advertising using conventional techniques. The famous names, you know, the has-been sports stars, the has-been actors and actresses. You know that stuff, don't you? But how often do you hear yourself saying it very quickly when you're doing your presentation, your 45-second presentation, your 2-minute presentation in the street? Bring these things to the fore, remember them. You've heard them, you've seen them on screens like this, alright? Where did that come from? Gediminas? I need a young person.
Just first cancel.
No, just cancel. Oh.
And then cancel.
Then cancel.
Cancel.
Cancel, 2 cancels.
2 cancel.
That
No, no,
cancel,
no.
that cancel, and the bottom cancel.
That cancel and that cancel.
It's just a grand.
Me and technology. I thought it was me. I thought it was what's going on here? So you know about all that stuff. Use it to your advantage. So what else do you know? What else do you know? You know that products had by way of network marketing are of the highest quality. The investment is made in research and development and quality, not not the high cost of advertising. You know, we don't do that stuff, do we? We don't. This is it. This is as bad as it gets. We know that. So you know that stuff. Why high quality? Ask yourself, why high quality? Network marketing is the simple act of
referral and recommendation.
correct. Referral and recommendation. What a great class you are. I'll take you along with me to our next recommendation and referral. That's all it is. Nothing to get fazed by. You know. Ask yourself honestly, if you've got a pile of doo-doos, you know, I won't swear this time. It's about a business of trust and integrity. People trust you. It's your integrity that's been into question. So if you've got a product that's inferior, you might get one sale, but that's it. Game over. So just remember that. You know, network marketing, high quality products. And that applies by and large across the board. It doesn't matter what company you're with, but with FM, DROM, quality, you've got it, yeah? Okay. So, what else do you know? Well, I'll tell you what you know. You know that most experts, they agree when joining a network marketing opportunity, there's 3 essential ingredients. There's 3 essential ingredients that you need to examine. One is you need a well-established and financially secure company that's got a proven track record and potential for massive growth. The other is a high quality, low cost, repeatable, you know, consumable product that has mass market appeal. Do FM products have mass market appeal?
Definitely.
Are they consumable?
Yeah.
They're incredibly consumable, aren't they? You know, you go, and it kind of goes down in the pocket. It's got to be replaced. You know, that isn't rocket science, is it? Let's face it. And of course, a pay plan that rewards well both for customer building and for team building. So if you think about it, you know, does that sound like a company that you kind of know that's somewhere near you at the moment? Of course it does. FM does excel in all 3 without a shadow of doubt. The establishment and the financial side. Debt-free from day one. 8 years ago, next month, 8 years ago, debt-free start. How many businesses? You're a businessman. Were you debt-free from the day you opened your business down the road? No. You were up to here, weren't you? You were up to here. I know. Don't we know it? Sorry, I'm not rubbing it in, right? But what a great place to be. A debt-free business at start-up. Okay? So, we've got that. Quality of consumption. Touched on that already. We know we've got the quality, we know it's consumable, it's repeatable. Rewards. Are the rewards any good in FM? Anybody have good experience?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we as a family, we probably had particularly good experience, you know, because we've been doing it a little while now. But it's all there for you guys, it's all there for the taking. So, how do I share this fantastic opportunity? Don't change anything. You know, it's like a wheel. Don't try and reinvent a wheel. Do exactly what you do now. Consume, recommend and refer. Right from your earliest childhood days, that's what you've done. When you were little kids, or if you've got little children, or you've got grandchildren, listen to what they say. I listen to my little grandson now. The stuff he says. You know, they're recommending a referral from those tender years. It might be a game, it might be a drawing book, or it's like Mickey Mouse on the internet, you know. They're telling their mates about it at that young, so they're doing it right from there. So don't change. Rejection. Let's touch on rejection. What about rejection? Well, if you simply include a few words in your everyday conversations about the experience of saving money on household purchases, and making extra money with very little effort, and if others join the kind of exclusive club that we are, and just talk about the fun you have and the pleasure that that club offers. Yeah, it's an up-to-eat thing. It's not too difficult, is it? How are we all doing today? How are we? Terrific. You know, it's not terrific. It's a bad day for Fitz. So what would that club be then? Well, of course, it's the FM World Group. What we call a club sometimes. Another thing to remember: don't be direct. Don't be too Lithuanian, as I've learned. Don't be too direct, because that salesman alarm will go off. It will go off, that bell will go, and you will be deaf, and the shutter will come down, and it will bang on your toes. Asking the third person, this is a grammar lesson. I had to learn grammar when I started to mix with Lithuanian people, because they asked me questions about English grammar. And I said, I don't know, I smoked it since I was a kid. But what you do is you ask them, you say, do you know anybody who might benefit from saving money on monthly purchases like fragrances, cosmetics and home products? Do you know anybody that? Do you know anybody that might like or benefit from earning a little extra income? Do you know anybody? So it's indirect, it's in the third person, yeah? You've got that? Or anybody that might benefit or like to have a free holiday. You're all familiar with the 1,200 point per month holiday incentive? Oh yes, they're going, oh yes, yeah, oh yes, I'm very familiar with it. So, you ask them in the third person, do you know anyone who might benefit or like the idea of a free car? Or in the case of our family, 2 free cars and a third one coming real soon. Woo! Woo! So, you ask in this way because it's as near rejection free as anything in life can get. Because most people, they like to be part of most people. So what you've done is by saying, do you know anybody that? They're going, what about me? Me. You know, why are you asking me that? You know, I want to be there. So you've aroused their curiosity, so they're interested, yeah? So you've captured their interest. I'm probably moving far too quick for that camera. I'm supposed to stand on the mark, I think, here. So in this way, that anybody becomes them. So they'll now be seeking more information. They'll be leaning forward towards you. They won't be sort of going, yeah? But you need to be careful. Take some deep breaths. Don't get too excited. As they say now, keep calm and carry on. In a controlled fashion, because you've got to recognise that any moment that bell can go off in their head. Any moment. The slightest wrong word from you, the slightest action, that bell will go off, guaranteed. So, what next? 45 seconds. They need to know the what, the why and the how. That's all they need to know. So what are we? We're in effect a discount club. We offer everyday consumables such as perfume, fragrance products, cosmetics, home care, put these teeth back in, car and pet care. That's what we are. Why? To save money, and if we so choose, to make money without lining the pockets of the Fat Cat supermarket shareholders. And personality by product endorsement. That's the why. How? By consuming quality products and sharing that experience with other people like them. What, why, how? 45 seconds? Pretty much so, I think, yeah? Okay. What not to do? Do not get your big caveman club out and batter them to death with facts and statistics and figures for 2 hours. I plead with you, don't do that stuff. You know, it's not in the training manual, but people still do it. Do not, as I heard in one case, don't hijack people and career across 3 county borders to a senior or more experienced colleague. You know, I've heard this story. I mean, it still makes me laugh. Distributors who are not with us today, so they're not identified, grabbed these people, had no idea where they were going, they bundled them in the car and they took them to Irina's house for the 2-hour battering. You can imagine what they were like, you know, it's like 999, get me out of here, quick. Don't do that stuff. Don't whip out your smartphone, your iPad, you know. Don't do that and run through the opportunity presentation. Don't do that stuff. You just want to give them that little tease just to pull them in, okay? Because you need to think like you're on that battlefield and you need to keep your powder dry. You know, you've aroused their interest, you've got their suspicion up, but please don't go into the big club, yeah? So what can or should I do? Just seek a time when they can set aside a little time to hear more. you've got to focus it. You've got to take control of the situation. Think about when the next opportunity presentation is near you, be it in Luton, Milton Keynes, London, wherever it might be, or perhaps a webinar where you can sit next to them in front of a laptop. Focus on that time. Or suggest that maybe, just a casual tea or coffee somewhere with a friend. All right, that friend is going to be a sponsor, or perhaps someone who's a bit more senior and a bit more experienced in your upline. But who's offended? Why don't you come out for a cup of tea or a coffee? Join me for a coffee sometime. So that's what you're trying to do. So this is where you're actually reeling them in. You've given them the worm, they've taken the worm, and you now start pulling them in. If they insist on more, there and then, okay, use up the remaining 1¼ minutes, and then shut up. Shut it. 2 minutes, okay? 1 hour, 58 minutes, extra you don't need. 2 minutes, yeah? Okay. So, 1 minute and 15 seconds, go. Now, outline the company, the collaboration between Drop and Profan, the quality, the industry, the size of the industry. We all know how big the industry is, do we? We know the excess size of the industry. We know it's over 23.25 billion last year. We know the pet care is a £40 billion business. We know that stuff, don't we? Yeah. That's a relief. Okay. Touch on the high cost of conventional marketing and the famous name endorsements, and remind them who pays. Who pays for all that stuff? You do. It may be there somewhere, but unless you bring it to the fore, they won't actually bring it. You have got that to do. So this is all going to take place in your next 1 minute and 15 seconds. Tell them about how much you've enjoyed the products, the experience, the help you've had and the support you've had. Okay? Remain positive and upbeat at all times. And remember that you are the best. You know best. You are the best. You're part of the best. There's no, don't kid yourself. That's your platform. That's where you're from. You're speaking almost from the moral high ground. May sound a bit harsh, but yes, do that because you will remain confident and positive. Okay? So, what if they say no? Don't chase birds. Jim Rohn says don't chase birds. If the birds are in the field, don't chase those birds because what happens to those birds? They up and they fly away. And suddenly you're over here and all the action's over there, so don't chase birds. Just say, okay, so maybe the time isn't right for you, maybe you don't want to save money or you don't want, just thank them really politely, say, I appreciate your time, I know how valuable time is, because we do know how valuable time is, and then complete with that soppy little smile on your face. You go back and you say, but if you do know anybody who might like to, invite them, you get the idea, okay? That way, it's as rejection-free as you can almost make it. Okay? So I say you know the rest. So what's next? Sit back, relax, talk amongst yourselves, applaud generously if you feel inclined, whilst we load up the next presentation.